It's the final countdown. Unreal Adventure 2024, presented by Skyjacker Suspensions, is right around the corner. I'm making my final preps to the S120. Trent is out in the field doing some last minute adjustments and planning to the route. Our sponsors and our participants are in the respective places getting ready. We're all going to be meeting very soon. So let's take a look at who's coming, what they're bringing, and how they're getting along. So we're going to start off highlighting Skyjacker Suspensions, our presenting sponsor. President of the company, Lonnie McCurry Jr., and his co-pilot, Mike Graves, are bringing a 2022 392 powered JLU. That's a JL Wrangler Unlimited. Thing's sick. Skyjacker's second vehicle is piloted by Lonnie's son, Evan McCurry, and his co-pilot, Joe Pike. It's a 2011 JK Unlimited powered by a 6.4 liter Hemi. So once those two Jeeps are done, loaded and ready to go, we're gonna put them in the Skyjacker 18-wheeler, and it's gonna come to where our check-in location is, and that is what we're gonna be running our tech inspection and check-in out of. So swanky digs this year for Unreal Adventure. Next up is someone who's no stranger to this event. Jeff Ismail and Zaid Ismail from IH Parts America are prepping their 1952 L110 Trout. Right now, he's back swapping on some fresh Milestar tires, making some final little comfort adjustments, some insulation to try to keep the interior cool for him and Zaid. And he also did a really nice video on what he packs for Ultimate Adventure. So go check out the IH Parts America YouTube channel and watch that one. Second vehicle that's coming with IH Parts America is a 73 International Scout piloted by Corey Holmes and Joe Colombo. Well, you might recognize the name Corey Holmes. He was actually one of our invited readers last year. However, he's coming for IH Parts America this year. That's kind of one of the things on this event. You build relationships, you get to know one another, and in the case of Corey and Jeff, they kind of came and developed a professional relationship out of this. So Corey will be coming representing for IH Parts America. And so with Corey out of the running for returning reader, that means we have 4 slots left. Who might it be? We'll tell you a little later in the video. And then coming back for Quigley Custom Driveshafts, you know him, you love him, Tiger LeBron and his lovely wife Renee driving that G2500, the big green van. Tiger is a shop foreman at Quigley 4x4, and so mechanical upgrades and upkeep are his thing. So right now Tiger's packing all the spare parts, tightening up all his bolts and making sure that big green van is 100% rock solid and ready to go. Also from Quigley is Dave Eisenbill and Chelsea Foster. They're going to be piloting the 2009 E350 video van that hauls our video crew every year. Once again, returning as the official transfer case of UA is Stephen Watson and Offroad Design. Every year Stephen picks a different co-driver, but this year Stephen is the co-driver, riding shotgun with his son Riley Watson in Riley's 82 K30. What final preps is he making? Well, he's done a lot of work to it, and last time I saw a photo of it, it was pretty well scattered all over the shop floor. But knowing the Watsons, they're gonna get it screwed back together and in top form, show us all up. Our official tire, Milestar Tire, they're not actually able to field a vehicle this year. They're pretty busy in the office, so they've tapped the shoulder of our crony Dave Chappelle. Dave is going to be representing Milestar Tire in a somewhat familiar 2012 JK Wrangler. You might recognize it, you might not. It's a very iconic build, but it's not going to look exactly the way it used to. Dave's making a lot of changes to this Jeep, and he's covering it on his YouTube channel, so pop over to Dirthead Shed and check out the build. And finally, our last sponsor is our official fabricator, Woods Off-Road. Johnny and Amber Wood are going to be coming in Johnny's 2000 Ram Crawler. Even though it's got 38s and 1-ton axles, it's technically a 1500. But Johnny's taken out the 318 and he's putting in a stroker small block Mopar. Thing makes a ton of power and it's super dialed, and he knows how to drive it. So Johnny is the one who actually built the S120 that Trent and I are going to be leading UA 2024 presented by Skyjacker Suspensions in. So if you haven't seen it yet, check out our video where we go over this truck and all the cool things Johnny did to make it happen. So with one of our cronies representing one of our sponsors, that leaves just a handful left who might be fielding their own vehicles. Not every crony brings a vehicle every year, and not every crony can make it every year. But here is who's coming this year and what they're going to be driving. Chris Durham, aka Mr. Fix-It, is one of our best known cronies. Chris, there's nothing he can't fix, mend, or MacGyver into working again. Chris is going to be driving his 2014 Jeep Gladiator. It's a JK Unlimited with a Chris Durham Motorsports front clip on it, custom fab bed, 6.2 liter, and all the throwdown hardcore parts. Next up is Sam Gillis, one of our cronies with the best sense of humor. He's also bringing his 2005 LJ Wrangler on big old tires. Sam's Wrangler is sporting a V8, one-ton axles, big old tires, and all the hardcore parts he needs to make it through UA without an issue. Our next crony is Clifton Slay. He's also our rescue paramedic on board. If anyone has an injury, Clifton's the guy we tap. Because of that, Clifton doesn't often bring his own vehicle, but this year he's going to be fielding his 2005 LJ Wrangler. Unlike Sam's, Clifton's retains a few more factory components. I think he's still got the 4-liter under the hood, but big axles, big tires, and Clifton really knows how to drive the thing. Our second newest crony is Kenny Smith. We call him Skinny Kenny, and this year Skinny Kenny's going to be bringing his 2000 Dodge Dakota again. It made its maiden voyage on UA last year, did great, no problems. It's a good looking truck, but best of all, it's got a bed so we can fit all our extra gear we don't want to haul in it. Keith Bailey is our crony who runs tech inspection and check-in day, and he's the one we actually defer to when it comes to roll cage and all the other safety items and whether a car passes or not. Keith is a shop owner. He's been in the 4x4 world, building 4x4s his entire adult life. Keith Bailey's coming in his 1984 CJ7 he affectionately calls Bailey Beige. He bought the thing brand new and has built it over the years based on his needs and wheeling style into what it is today. Our class clown crony is Tommy Boyd, but Tommy's Bronco has been down and out on the rocks for as long as we can remember. So this year, we're tapping kind of an honorary crony, Ryan Broom, to shuttle Tommy around. So Ryan's gonna have his earplugs in because Tommy can chatter quite a bit, but I don't know if he'll be able to even hear him over the engine in that 1943 CJ3A he's coming in. Our last crony who's fielding a vehicle this year is our own Vern Simons, who's bringing his 1941 UA LRJ. It's a former UA official vehicle. He built it with a Cummins R2.8, AX15, Magnum doubler, Ultimate Dana 60s. I mean, the thing is totally built. And with Vern's fabrication, attention to detail, and creativity, it's definitely one to keep your eyes on. So that was our sponsors and cronies, and now we're down to the question everyone wants to hear the answer to: which invited readers made the cut? Well, the first we'll mention is James Jenkins and his 1985 Chevy Crew Cab. It's a huge truck, it's super cool, it's unique. We loved the fabrication on it. We liked how clean the body was. James was a really good guy to talk to, knew his stuff, has been off-roading for a long time, and I think he's gonna make a great addition to the event. Next up is Trask Wyman in his 1990 Ford F350. We thought that was a really approachable build that a lot of people could relate to. It was well done, it was well thought out, it wasn't overly complicated, and Trask was really cool to talk to. I mean, really, it's the personality of the driver as much as the vehicle itself that may or may not get you in the door when it comes to UA. It's a widely believed myth that you can't get into UA if you enter with a Jeep. And to prove that wrong is Stephen Baines in his 1991 YJ Jeep Wrangler. Okay, truth be told, we have shared the trail with Stephen in the past. I think we wheeled with him in Moab at Easter Jeep Safari once or twice. That does kind of help your chances if we've gotten to know you and we know that you know your machine and how to comport yourself on the trail, and if you're a good person to hang out with. That said, your rig still has to be dialed, it still has to be well built, and it still has to be what we consider capable of making a hardcore week on UA without major issues. Here's one that a lot of people probably didn't think was going to make it just because there's so little identifiable parts of the body left. However, Greg Smith's 1996 LX450 kind of caught Trent and me in the heartstrings. We dug the fact that Greg had no qualms about making this rig completely into something that worked for him, aesthetics be damned, and maybe even cargo carrying functionality be damned, because he's trying to figure out how he's going to fit a cooler on that thing while still having a spare tire. Oddly enough, I thought it was on a shortened wheelbase, but it is the factory wheelbase. So I guess that goes to show how perception can be skewed when you take most of the identifiable parts of a vehicle off of it. Who didn't see this coming? Mike Day in his 2006 BMW X5. I mean, the thing is just bombastically cool. The fabrication's flawless, the engineering's next level, and Mike seems to be a really cool guy. We had a great conversation on the phone, and his build's on YouTube. We still haven't checked it out, but I mean, if you want to see how he made this BMW X5 into a trail slayer, go check it out. We're just gonna wait and hit the trail with him. Oh, and by the way, we're gonna be doing full vehicle walkarounds with all of the participants. So if you wanna see more of one of these vehicles, we'll be bringing it to you. And that leaves us our returning reader. If you thought Brandon Carroll in his Brat machine, his 1999 XJ Cherokee, then you are right. Brandon's been hard at work making some changes. The engine was not too happy at the end of the event last year, so he did a V8 swap, but that wasn't without its gremlins. Check this out.
The blanket from the... Where's that welding blanket, babe?
Luckily, everything was fine. The house didn't burn down, and he was Johnny on the spot with the extinguisher and the rag to smother it. So good on you, Brandon. Hopefully your trip out is a little smoother than your prep. So speaking of having all your spares and parts and things you need for a week on UA, I've got some work to do prepping the S120. I've got to get all my stuff sorted, packed, and ready to go because I got to hit the road soon. So right now I'm laying out some of my essential gear. I've got crates and different totes with spares of all different parts. You need to know your vehicle's potential weaknesses and put a spare in there if you think you may have some kind of issue. In addition to some fluids, some tools, some spare parts here and there. I also like to bring a smattering of camping gear. And then big items I may not need, but I might need like a spare Quigley rear drive shaft. I've got that strapped down in there. So when you're packing your spares, make sure you've got one container that doesn't leak. And if you can, put all of your wet stuff in there, and that will also double as a catch can if you've got to drain your engine oil or you break a transmission or who knows what. Also, make sure your tools are in some kind of container, if at all possible, that's water resistant at least. You know, you're probably not going to be able to find something your whole toolkit fits in that you can submerge, unless you're running like a military ammo can that all your things fit in. Those are great. Or there are a lot of off-road overland-based bags available that'll keep your stuff nice and dry. You know, rain's been an issue in the past, and hint, hint, dust might be an issue this year. So Unreal Adventure 2024 presented by Skyjacker is happening September 21st through 28th is the event. We will be posting live from the event on our Instagram page, Unreal Adventure Official, and our Facebook page. Follow hashtag UA2024, hashtag Unreal Adventure, hashtag Skyjacker. A lot of stuff's going to be covering this. It's not going to be hard to find. And our event coverage will be airing on YouTube at the end of October, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of it.